And that's what I do. So when I'm doing all this training, whatever I might do, I might be very flowy in my wushu moves. It might look very showy or whatever. You know, it might look like a ballet dance to some people, but it's like, you know, you've got to be flexible, you know, you've got to be flexible. You've got to be very agile movement, you know, upper body, flowy, and all that, you know. You know, all that's it. And your moves very natural when you're moving. All that's it, the ball and all that. See? You're all flowing with upper body movement. But it's like you have to flow from the lower body into the root, up through your spine, up through your breath, you know what I'm saying, inside through your hips. You know, all of that has got to be worked in, ultimately. It's just got to be. You can't just, you know, just do one part, either the lower or the higher, you know. Flexible and strong through the root. All these kind of twisting exercises, you know, all that. And it's not, this video is not about twisting, don't get it twisted, confused. This video is not about twisting and spinning your arms around and pissing around, you know, and just stepping and skipping around different steps and fucking spinning and being flexible. It's not about that at all. It's about feeling your core and where your root is, so that all these moves come together, be it whatever form or style you do, you know. So in a real fight, when someone comes to grab hold of you or whatever, you can stand strong, simply root, and all that power comes out, and you can get into different positions, locks, throws, trips, strikes, whatever it might be, all the power's coming in, and you're not wasting your energy, you're using your opponent's energy against him, you know, and you understand, because all that power's coming in. If you need to slightly step further in and throw him back, wherever it might be, you can. Rise him up here, kick low, see, over whatever it might be, bring it up here, palm over, you can use all your steps, your knee guard, your foot, all in good control, that's what I'm saying. Yeah? That's what Kung Fu's about. It's not about talking shit, about studying what you're doing. So that's what we're talking about, okay? With the root, you know? The truth is in the root, you know what I mean? And so reaction and what moves work in a real fight, it depends on how you use it and how you use it and when you use it. You know what I mean? There's some people out there, man, who are just big tough guys, but somebody who's like a ballet, some little ballet girl, 5-year-old could probably kick their fucking ass. And I'm just saying, you know what I mean? It depends on how you move your body and what works. It's like someone with no knowledge could even beat like a master of Kung Fu and martial art master just off guard. Anyone can attack anybody, but it's like using what works for you. Sometimes you grab me here, I'll grab that, smack him under there, low palm, block it up, down, punch, block, B, elbow, it's going to work, see? So I'm grabbing me here, elbow strike, that coming up, sinking the whole time, I see sink, bam, see, chop out, boom, side kick him, I can launch it out, see? Whatever it might be. Sinking, you know what I'm saying? Using my waist and all that in there, see? Crack, grab that, bam. It's all in there because I practice all these exaggerated forms and I practice all these moves. That's what I'm saying. See? To feel the energy, I've got more energy than these people because I practice more energy in my body movement. Got my breathing, I'm not out of breath like they are. Because of this training, I can probably run better, you know, run up some staircases, whatever, you know. You know what I'm saying? I feel more energy, I can feel all kinds of flows, I'm more flexible. If you're more flexible, it reduces the, you know, injury, you know, and that, the chance of injury, serious injury, or the level, you know. So flexibility and movement in martial arts, you know. You can't, if you take away the art part, let's say, I'm not saying showy in that, I'm saying you take away the art part, as in that kind of flow, if you look at it as a dance and that, and you put off, if you like reject all this kind of training, drill training and flow training and form training, and exercise, then you just basically become just a regular fighter, and you just rely on your muscles, your power, and a few simple techniques. But you're robbing yourself of it. The same way as like some of these wushu people who don't do a lot of weights and stuff. Kind of like me, I'm kind of like thin. What should I say though? We could all do more for ourselves. We could do more weights and strength training. Could do more real like competition fights and sparring. You know what I mean? Like I used to do. You can do more sticky hand and workouts and sticky hand, push hands, train with people free. So you can do all kinds of other exercises, go for runs or walks or swimming or whatever. You know, read more books, you know, the mind. You can work all kinds of training in, you know what I mean? As I say, you can do more flexibility training if you're not doing that. More when you're breathing, you can cut down eating so much shit. Some people like to smoke and drink and take drugs. You can stop doing that shit and just make your life better, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, you know, real martial arts is what it's about. So in a real fight, you've got to make all that work for you. You've got to make the techniques work for you. You've got to make what works work. You know, when someone grabs onto you, you've got to know how to deal with them with a certain techniques. So kind of like, if someone's using all their power to push you or pull you, you've got to learn to go with the flow, like in Tai Chi and things like that. Open up different areas and strike with different techniques, be it like Wing Chun, Karate, whatever it might be, Kung Fu styles, whatever. Boxing, you know, going straight in, Muay Thai, whatever it might be. You know, you've got it all works. I don't care even if you're doing MMA. Anyone can learn from these points. What I'm trying to say. But learning to move your body in different ways. The same way as like the military and the army, they learn how to move their body in different ways, and they've got to be strong for those different ways, right? It's no good saying you can move your body like a ballet dancer, but you can't do anything. You've got no power. Now we all get that. We all lack in different areas of flexibility and power. I could be more stronger. I'm just trying to say, you know. I'm just saying that sometimes you've got to make it work for your whole waist, you know. Your arms, how to like, block high, hit low. Very different kind of stepping and manoeuvres. The same way as the military will with guns and things, how to turn and formation, you know what I mean. Rolls and things, you know, how to stealthily, you know, hide behind targets and use the surroundings, you know, when they're in a battleground, say a shooting situation, you know what I'm saying? It's the same with your body. So if you can move and you can be flexible, like in ninjutsu or any form of kung fu, you know, you can be really good in your training. If someone's grabbing you, let's say, you can just, if they're coming up high, you can just sink low with your flexible, with your power, raise it up high, hit low, throw them down. If they're coming low, you can hit high, you understand the angles, how to spin and turn out the way when someone's kind of strike, stepping, circle stepping and all that. If you need to kick high, you can. Let's say if someone grabs your hands, you know what I'm saying? And you can kick, you know, you can use your legs to fight. Or someone's going for your legs, you can stand strong. And you know, someone's trying to take you down, you can learn to stand strong, be it MMA or whatever. You can learn to do that and try if you're in a small situation, let's say, or your hands tight, you're holding so heavy, you can learn how to manipulate things. Use your whole body, shoulder, whatever it's going to be, coming in, elbows, bam, bam. And how to change, learning how to change the hands, like in Wing Chun, you know, palming, whatever fist, whatever it's going to be, you know, conditioning and stuff that I've said before, like punching on walls and stuff, but just gradually, I'm saying, I punch on walls and trees, you know, just gradually do a few different, I'm not gonna punch too loud here, okay, because the neighbours are in the other room. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying that, you know, just saying that gradually you can build up the power. I'll show you the other side of the room there. You know, for example, when you just work it in gradually, you can work up your power. But you don't want to go full power in your arms, because you'll fuck up yourself in your house, see? But just go in there gradually, and say, see, line yourself up, stand in stance. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, see? Step out, 1, 2, 3, step back, see? One step into it, bang, bang, see? Bang, turn back, see? Elbow, be careful with elbows and saves. On a tree it's okay, it's better, but you know, on the flat part, okay, here, I'm just doing, you know, working that palms, see? And how I'm covering here, just to get some force in, you see what I'm saying? Things like, as I say, like I like to do with my door frames and stuff too. I like to train on my door frames. Most of the time I like to train on my door frames, as I say. Hold on 1 second. For example here, things like on the door frame, I'll be training my forearms and all that on there, Wing Chun, whatever it might be, on the door to get some control, see? For my stance, shoulder might be in there, see? Elbow, working how that can feel with my knees. Like as I've shown you before, so shoulder up there. I work it all in, see, crossing on that centre line, how to change, see, or parry, just to get some, you know what I mean, get some power into my moves. You don't have to go all out, you know, and mess yourself up, you know, sinking in the root, but just work it out, you know, things like that. And then slapping, gonna power that slap, you know, you know what I mean, literally. That forearm, back of the hand too. You're finding crane, let's say. For example here, can't really see it, I'm just using the back of my hand very softly. Just being careful, don't break your wrist on the fucking thing. You're just like here. See? Do a few of those, see? Back fist, whatever it might be, see? Some people want to do finger strike, but be careful on those. Even leopard, or you need to be careful with things like that. Okay? Again, things like forearms. You know, but the thing is, you've got to be careful. So, on a door phone would be good, or a tree. Working your forearms, different part, you know. You see what I'm saying? Working on different moves. See? I like to do my forearms and stuff on like trees. See? Or chopping. Before, you know. Hammer fist. That can work, so you're working your power. But it's just very simple training. You can check out my Tai Chi Combat series and you see some training on that too. Okay, but I'll make more videos as we go, you know, in the future and that too. So just thinking about different ways you can train your body with the surroundings and that, you know, with the kung fu moves you know or the martial arts you know. I will share more, okay, in terms of real training too, also incomes, like I say. But people are just so closed-minded. Some people, you know what I mean? They just, oh, that's just crap, man. You're just some skinny kid. Come on. You know, it's just try it out in a real fight and see what happens. Yeah, you will see what happens in different fights. You'll be surprised, you know. But it's all about deception, reaction, a lot of things. You know, it's not just muscle and what style is the best in someone's opinion. Well, no, it's been proven, man. You know, look how many Wing Chun people have lost fights in MMA. That's all bullshit when people say that because it's not true. It's just those people have gone in there with poor Wing Chun against that. It's not. I'm not just. You can't really say which one is better than what. And people might even go up against that and say, "Well, that's bullshit." What I'm saying right there. But it's up to you, you know. But you got to admit, you know. It's like what gun works better at the end of the day, and they work in different ways and reaction. And you know, it's the reaction of human beings. Now, what sentence works better when someone asks you this question? What would be the best answer? That's just a bullshit thing to say because it's different people and they take the answer differently too, and whatever different answer you give. See, you know what I'm saying? So the martial arts is the same thing. It's about, you know, but you just want to ultimately be formless and shapeless like water, like Bruce Lee did say, you know, and train your whole body to be as fit as possible with all kinds of training. People with different builds and all the rest of it, and you can't fake it and just muck around and say, oh, this is kung fu here, I'm doing all this. You've got to make this thing work when someone, you know, if you're talking about real fight. But as long as you're training for your health and fitness and it feels good for you and you're training, that's the most important, you know what I mean? So just focus on what training makes you, you know, brings you out the best in your health, you know, as you feel. And I'm standing in the stance here, just sinking into it. You can't really see, I'm just exercising my whole body, even when I'm talking to you now. That's it. I'm just working out my whole body here, breathing. You shouldn't really speak. Breathing, whatever moves I want to do, whatever feels comfortable. For me, you know, I don't need to practice any exact style exactly. It depends on what you've learned in your life, you know. But when you want to train freely, you study what you're doing, you know, and think about, you know, how to do certain moves, how to block and strike, you know. Work your whole body in. Okay? So there's a lot of techniques there. I can show you just a lot of training methods, okay, just raw and rough stuff, you know, maybe crap in some people's eyes, but I don't care, you know. You know, martial arts training is deep, and it's only as deep as you make it with your mind too. If I get knocked the fuck out by somebody, I won't turn around and say, oh, I'm wrong in what I've done here, you know, because that's got nothing to do, it's a different situation. Let me give you an example, right? I've tried to use my, let's say, kicking skills and things, like in kickboxing, with hardcore kickboxing against people that have been up in the ring and all kinds of people I've been sparring with in the past, and I was in kickboxing and sometimes these kick techniques, plus in the 5 Animal Kung Fu that I studied before too, these kicking techniques that didn't work for me. I was always coming unstuck. My teacher just threw me back on the floor. I mean that was a demonstration, but fair enough. I'm just trying to say, you know. And then when I was in kickboxing, I used to always get pounded in my nose and just pummeled by people in the corner. My kicks, I used to try to keep people at bay. Back then, it was, you know, before I was really studying the Chinese Kung Fu, was in my past. But it's like, not comparing but styles or whatever to say that, but you know, truly, I mean, traditional martial arts and kung fu, and for the internal and the physical, how can I say, it's got so many benefits that, you know, I felt that against the kickboxing. But the kickboxing I learned was some of the most hardcore training I did back in my past. It's all good for you, but it's like different kinds of exercise. What I'm trying to say. You can compare all day and you can find faults with different martial arts and which one's better or this or that, and you will. You can basically prove so many points against one art or the other way. But it's like, at the end of the day, they're all good for you and they're all different in different ways. But it's like, the way you use them might work differently in different times. I was attacked on the street here in China. I had someone grab my arm. I'm not boasting. The guy was trying to pull me away. He said, come with me, come with me. He did it a couple of times. I went to walk away from him. He wouldn't go. He kept pulling me by my arm, a complete stranger. And I basically roundhouse kicked the guy a couple of times, high roundhouse kick, not in the head seriously, full blast. But he was like guarding up, but I knocked him back a bit. And he left me alone. Now, that might not work in another situation. I might end up getting you might come back, knock me the fucking, get dragged the fuck down, people just grab me, you know what I mean? It's about emotions of the other person, this, you know, how pissed off they are, how intent they are on hurting you, you know, their reaction speed, the actual way they fight, from the beginning, middle and end of this whole situation. So you can't compare any martial art, what is a martial art? It's basically a group of set techniques, right, that make this whole thing what it is. So you can't compare any of these techniques to other techniques. It depends on every situation. But there are different exercises you can do in different martial arts, you know, that are definitely good for your body. Let's say, for example, right, you might say, oh, what's all this Tai Chi shit, you know, you might say that. And you might say, well, look at kickboxing, man, or boxing, I'm just working out my body and leaning over and doing all this, and push-ups. Push-ups are great too. I'm just saying, you know, you might see somebody did like a traditional Tai Chi form or whatever, or doing some kind of, you know, breathing, and you might say that's all rubbish. But you might not understand. You're training the internal breathing. Now, when you open up your chest, let's say, for example, like kung fu kind of movements, it's insane. It's just like exercise, the same as exercise. When you open up your chest, you open up your back, let's say, slowly, stretching, loosening up your back, see, you know, all that kind of thing, different kind of movements you might do for your lower upper body, you know, swinging your legs and that, exercising. So when you're doing a kung fu form, it's all about movement, and when you're doing like martial art moves, it's all about, you know, kung fu, it's about movement and flowing, you know what I'm saying? So open up all the channels in your body and loosen up. You can't get all these, you know, you can't just be big and muscly and that's it, you know what I mean? You have to be fluid and feel the tendons and all that joined together, and be able to stretch and flow with your power from inside. They said, you know, like a good friend of ours, Rick, once said about iron and silk, you know, being like that and being like water and that, you know, it's a substance, it's not nothing, but you can't grab hold of it, you know, just flowing, you know, and someone comes to push into it, or someone pushes this part in, this part cracks them, you know, someone pushes, you know, that, let's say I can hit low this, or they push this in, then this part comes out, you know, up high, I can hit low, see, boom, or they're pushing my hand down, see, I grab it onto me and they pull him down, I just go with that and pull him down, and this one comes up into his head, you see what I'm saying? He's falling back now, he's pulling me back, he grabs onto my wrist, I grab onto his wrist, or I just step forward and push him back over there, over my foot in the right place to trip him over, see? He's pushing into me here now, I just pull him that way, I'll step back and throw him that way, I'll use my waist, see? And all these movements I'm doing, see, it's all connected, I'm not just dancing around, so it's all, that's what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is, all this exercise you do, so you've got to make it work for you, for breathing internally from the inside, the blood, the chi, whatever you want to call it, the energy for your body, the muscle, the tendons, all that, the blood flowing, your mind, your balance, all that, and you're training your balance too, and your stamina, because it's all working out, don't forget. You can still do your weights and all the rest of it, you can do all that, whatever you want to do, boxing, you know, mat work, ground work, whatever the fuck you want to do, go running, but this is different kind of training. Kung Fu will teach you a lot to open your mind about how you can live your life based on so many levels too. You take the philosophies out, and how you can move, you know, it's not just philosophy and BS, it's real stuff. So what I'm trying to say is, when you move, when you're training, it will teach you a lot, and you'll feel how to stand strong, you know, how to use different fighting moves, how to move your body and work in different ways. I'm trying to say, your wrists, you know, your fingers, your grasp, your grip, you know, all that, your forearms, your fist, all of it to make it hard when you need to be hard. Using different kind of power, not just hand, using your whole body into it. Bam, see? Bam, here. The whole waist motion when you elbow straight, you know what I'm saying? Bam, hitting up here. Boom. Then how to change straight into a lock. Bam, see? He tries to push me there, I'll go there. Might shoulder bump him, see, from there, see? Or I might just, you know what I'm saying, he might headbutt me, let's say, but the elbow will be right there, see? He might hit me up there. Might parry that and elbow him straight up in the chin, go low. Step back round, see, the elbow straight to the face. As soon as he's pushing me, I just go with that, let him go through, see? Bam, straight from the back, or sweep from my foot. Because I'm learning all these different steps, like I told you, crossing steps and coiling up there from the centre, feeling that all I'm like a whirlwind, I'm like a whirlpool, or a whirl. As soon as he touches me, he pushes me, you see? Pushes me, I just sink my weight, I let him go past. He pushes me there, I let him go and I can strike in or pull him into it, trap that. He pushes this side and push there, see? He's pushing slightly low into my body, I let it go, like I parry that down to the side. He comes up high, or my head here, I move that up, so he comes up here, see? I let him go that way, see? Uppercut, whatever it's going to be, bam! Boom, knee strikes, then letting him go in. He starts to pull back that direction. I just literally, you know, push him back in there. He's pulling me. I don't just pull him, a tug of war. Just go with it. And kick him over, give him some power to go with. You know what I mean? And if he's falling, make sure I fall on top of him, you know, with something busting him, or let's say, or even if I'm standing up, he's falling down and my foot's just crushing him. You know what I'm trying to say? Or if he's trying to throw me down, make sure he falls down first, and he becomes your, you know what I mean? If you have to fall down, he becomes your fucking, you know, safety mat. You just fall on that, you know. He's always crushing himself, and so, you know what I'm saying? It's like the same thing with fighting at Wing Chun. You know, he knocks that down, elbow cracks him, you know, here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I go to hit elbow, or he pushes that, this one goes, or I punch. It's a fake punch to trick his mind. He goes to grab that. Now his hands are busy, right? I go hit him with the other hand. He blocks with the other one, then I have my elbow. So says, oh, you're always freeing yourself up. Bam, he blocks that, take that hand away, parry it down, hit there. So there's all these different techniques you can do, it works in, you know what I'm saying? And you're tricking him upstairs so you can hit him down below, kick your knee and whatever, or you're hitting him low with a fake to trick that while you're fighting him up the stairs. Centre line, all that coming in, see? All that's coming in. So you're working it all in, see, bam, bam. You're not going to go 1, 2 and make it like a flowing form. You've got to make it work. I think people don't understand when they see me talk about wushu form, when I say that you step out, grab and punch and all this, or like, you know, or like I just block, circle blocking. Oh yeah, it's perfect with a ball. Now come in, grab that and then throw you back. As oh, is that so easy to do in real life? Is that going to work? They're going to wait for you, yeah? It's not like that at all. I'm just saying you've got to think about it differently, you know what I'm saying? When someone's coming right into you, and pushing you, and they're pushing themselves right off balance, then you absorb that in, see, then you can chuck him in there with all your whole power, because you've done all this working out. Elbow cracking at the same time, lifting it up, he doesn't want to go in that direction, so he's throwing it back that way, elbow can strike in there, locking your whole, sweeping my foot, you can't see my foot, I'm sweeping in that direction, so I'm saying. You might say, that's good, it's all theory, Richard, it's all theory, and it all boils down to when you're in the ring, man, how's that going to work in a street fight, you get your ass fucking kicked, maybe. You know, but if I lose the first fight because I'm not invincible, I'm not fucking, you know, I'm not some kind of magic man. If I lose that fight, you'll go off thinking you're proud and my style is shit, but you won't see the next couple of fights that I might have won. But if I win that first fight, and maybe the second fight and the third fight, you'll start believing that I'm invincible, I'm so great fighter. And then I might lose the next 7 fights, and you say, what's happened to him, man? What's happened? It's not that at all. It's the reaction on different fights and different situations. You might be in a dojo, in a kung fu school, or some MMA class where you might go to, and you'll be doing really good. And one day you'll be on the train, and you'll get your ass beat by a load of thugs, and you'll start to lose confidence in what you're doing, and that's wrong too. Or you might be eating something in a restaurant.